Feel your best and amplify your everyday look with Thrive Causemetics. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/shine26 for an exclusive offer of 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/shine26.
You alright? So what you're about to hear here is an episode from my Patreon. I'm reading a new book, Strange Stories, Amazing Facts. I read books on my Patreon. I put things in there, daily updates as well, which aren't daily, or maybe sometimes not even weekly, just things I've been thinking about, which I think you might enjoy. But this is a series that I do called Storytime with Jack, where I read books and then sort of analyse it as we go through it, and then just chat about whatever comes up in my brain as we go through it. So this is over 40 minutes long. On Patreon, obviously, it doesn't have this introduction because people on Patreon already know what it is. That, if that makes sense. You can join the Patreon for £3 a month to get access to this and all the other shows on there. There's hundreds of other episodes on there that you can't get anywhere else. Patreon.com/worldaroundyou. And even if you don't want to do that, hopefully you'll enjoy this. I won't be putting any more chapters from this on there. This book's about 600 pages long or so I'm going to be going through it for a while on Patreon. Maybe an episode a week or so, maybe a couple a week. We'll see how it goes. It's a big book to get through. But it's a lot more interesting than that last one about ancient Egyptian medicine, so hopefully you'll enjoy this. There's no adverts on the Patreon one either, and I'm trying to put ad-free shows on the Patreon for the longer episodes anyway, because I can do it for the longer ones easier than I can for the short ones because of the way that I record them. But either way, hopefully you'll enjoy this. I'll just let you crack on with it. Here you go. It's time for a new book. This one's called The Reader's Digest book of strange stories, amazing facts, stories that are bizarre, unusual, odd, astonishing, incredible, ... but true. Now, lengthy title, fucking lengthy book. It's we're going to be starting on page 10. And then there is at least 590 pages in this book. So this is probably going to see us through till at least Christmas, I would hope. At least. Do you know what I mean? This is it's going to take a while. There's a lot of pictures, though, which is nice. Shit for you guys. Nice for me, though. I get to look at stuff. And let me try and adjust this microphone so we can get it in a position where it's not going to be in the way. And I'm just going to hear back what that sounds like if I'm reading from here. Seems alright to me. So, there's all different sections. I'll give you an idea of the rundown of the contents, as we always do. Part 1 is the enigma of space. It's the enigma of being, it's not real. The astonishing human body, which, I don't know what miracles we have in our human body. When was this book written? This was written or released, or some form of date to date it by. It's fuck all to date this from. Let me see. 1975 it looks like. So it's not too old. It might be, it's less contemporary than the ancient Egyptian one, but the ancient Egyptian one was fucking boring. Then we've got Wonders of the Natural World, the surprising animal kingdom. So that's got to be stuff like leaf insects, and the insects that conceal themselves, and maybe parasites as well. Part 2, the marvels of science, feats of building and engineering, man's amazing inventions, daring and epic journeys, the quest for the past, strange customs and superstitions. That'll be fun. That's about halfway through the book. Popular facts and fallacies. That's just going to part of that bit will be lies. Maybe we'll be bored of it by then. Intriguing and unsolved mysteries. It'll be interesting to see how many of them have now been solved. Footsteps into the unknown. The intriguing and unsolved mysteries might feed into main episodes for the show as well. Legendary lands and beasts. Yeah, part 3 is going to be the best bit, I think. Part 4, hoaxes, frauds and forgeries. That's got to have the Piltdown Man. I'd be surprised if it doesn't. But we've already covered that in another book that we've read. Eccentrics and prophecies. Curious and bizarre beginnings. I don't know what that's going to be an odd one. Part 5 is the world of tomorrow. But we'll get going with part 1, the enigma of space. Looking at the sun and the stars is like gazing backwards down a time tunnel. What is seen from the earth is not the stars as they are, but as they were when the light rays reaching earth left the various heavenly bodies. Light travels 186,000 miles a second, nearly 700 million miles per hour, and at this speed takes 8 minutes to reach earth from the sun. But don't they say cum goes pretty quick? I'd like to know what the speed of cum is. The speed of cum. I'm going to Google that for us straight away. and find out what the speed of cum is. Because that's got to be like 130 miles an hour or something, hasn't it? The speed of ejaculate. Because otherwise, when it goes into, when it goes into a lady's mouth, how come they go like that if it's not hitting the back of the throat? Really, 28 miles an hour. Not as fast as what you'd think. The average speed of male ejaculation. Maybe it's not the speed of it, but maybe it's the smell and taste. By the same token, the closest star to Earth's solar system, Proxima Centauri, is seen not as it is, but as it was 4.25 years ago, 4.25 years ago. With powerful telescopes, it's possible to look back millions of years into the past of the universe. So it'd be interesting if they could put a big mirror in space. That might be what they're sending out into space. If they send out massive mirrors, maybe then we can look at the mirror and we can look back. And we'll look in that mirror and we'll see 4,000 years in the past. Before we even put that mirror there, that mirror will then be there. And we can then look back at Earth and see the dinosaurs alive, possibly. Maybe that's what they're going to get at here. With powerful telescopes, it's possible to look back millions of years into the past of the universe, and by linking telescopes with sensitive photographic plates even further... Oh, don't say that, says the photographic plate. Even further back to a staggering thousands of millions of years ago. Hard to believe that it exists, done it thousands of millions of years. Try and, like, a little thought exercise. Think back to 4 Tuesdays ago. Unless, like, your nan died or your mum died or something 4 Tuesdays ago, or, somehow you had a leg severed in a horrific tram crash, you're not going to remember it, are you? So the idea that they can even suggest these thousands of millions of years have passed. But despite man's ever-increasing knowledge and use of more and more sophisticated equipment, such as deep space probes, the Earth is still an insignificant dot against the overwhelming backcloth of space. The Earth, a lot of people don't even believe in space anymore. So, the Earth occupies 3rd place from the Sun. Oh, I thought it was going to be a bit more metaphorical. The Earth occupies 3rd place from the Sun in a system of 9 planets. Some with moons, some believe there's 10 if we include Nibiru. Others without, in orbit around the Sun. Oh, sorry, I broke that up in a weird place. Some with moons, some without. They're all in orbit around the Sun. This, the solar system, is a tiny speck in a breathtakingly huge spiral, 100,000 light years across, known as the galaxy. This galaxy, in turn, is one of the countless others in yet another system of galaxies. Then underneath we've got a black and white picture of spirals and squiggles. What took this picture? This is a picture by... Who took the photograph? It doesn't actually say who took the photograph. So I'm going to imagine it's not real. All black and white squiggles. They all look relatively similar. These things spiralling round. Some of them look a lot like UFOs because they're on the sides. Which makes me wonder, are UFOs just little pocket dimensions? Or other dimensions opening up, other galaxies being slowly, quickly visible and then invisible again. Invisible, I suppose, rather than... But if it was visible and then it doesn't become invisible, does it? If it's going to be visible again, it just becomes unvisible, I suppose. That is so incredibly vast it defies our imagination. Distances between Earth and the nearest objects in space were first measured by a method of trigonometry known as parallax. Also a fellow DJ, Parallax, from Threshold FM, shout out to Parallax. This involves taking triangulated sightings in a star at 6 monthly intervals, or in effect using that diameter of the Earth's annual orbit around the Sun as the baseline of a triangle. If the baseline of a triangle and the angles at each end of it are known, the remaining dimensions of the triangle can be worked out. Threefold success in 1838. Astronomers in the 17th and 18th centuries tried to calculate star distances using the parallax method, but it was not until 1838 that 3 astronomers within a few months of each other successfully and independently made parallax calculations of star distances. Frederick Bessel, director of the Königsberg Observatory in Germany, measured a star called 61 Cygni as being just less than 11 light years away. James Henderson, Astronomer Royal for Scotland, announced that Alpha Centauri was 4.3 light years from Earth, and F.G.W. Struve, working at Dorpat in Russia, gave a value of the distance for Vega, now acknowledged to be 27 light years away. That means maybe he got it wrong because it's now acknowledged as that, but he gave a distance. Later, the parallaxes of other stars were calculated, but beyond a distance of 100 to 150 light. See, what bothers me with this is, say, like I sell Dicta scales. We all know I sell Dicta scales. And if I start using that Dicta scale to measure things, let's say it's not measured in penises. Let's say I'm using that Dicta scale to measure the, like how far away my fingertip can be from the main joint of my finger, whatever I deem to be the main joint of my finger as I bend my finger around. And I'm like, oh, according to my Dicta scale, it's 9 inches away. But on an actual ruler, it's this. How this is what I don't get. How can we measure things that there's no way of knowing if that's correct? You can't walk it. You can't tie a string to it and then measure the string out like that. It just seems pointless, I suppose. Utterly pointless. A waste of a life and career. I know I cut up dead rats and I'm reading this book to 4 people right now. That's a pointless thing, but I'm enjoying the book and this gives me an excuse to read. What are they doing? They've found an excuse to avoid their wives. That's what it is. Measuring stars with a ruler that can't even reach them. We can't even use a ruler. They're measuring it going off, this is the orbit of the Earth, and this is this far away from that now, and this is this far from that now. I reckon it's about this. And how close? 150 light years, right? I imagine there's a huge discrepancy between 149 light years and 150 light years. You're not walking the extra light year, are you? Whereas if you say something's it's 100 metres down the road, you're not pissed off if it's 120 metres down the road. If you say it's just 100 metres up the road, mate, and that turns out to be 2.5 kilometres up the road, you're pissed off. You're like, that guy lied to me. When I flagged down that car and asked that fella driving for directions, he lied to me. He said it was a lot closer than what it was. There's just that's such a big distance to say that it's this exact amount, this exact number. Obviously, they're rounding it up, so what's the point? I've never understood rounding. Something about triangles, where was we? Later, the parallaxes of other stars were calculated, but beyond a distance of 100 and 150 light years. The trigonometric method leaves an increasing margin of error because at a very tiny angle at the apex of the triangles involved. So an increasing margin of error. So it's wrong. They're all wrong. That's what they're saying here. We're probably wrong, but we reckon it's this far, right? And now I'm going to get an award that I don't even like. When you get the Nobel Peace Prize and stuff, is that even an actual award, or did he just give you some letters after your name or something? In the constellation of Aguirre. Oh no, sorry. To the star distances can, however, be measured by other methods, many based on how luminous a star is. To the naked eye, all stars may seem white, or nearly so, but this is not the case. In the constellation of Aguirre, Auriga, maybe. For example, the star Capella is yellow. Betelgeuse in Orion is reddish, and Rigel is slightly blue. Fucking stupid names. An analysis of the spectrum of any distant object in space reveals its chemical elements and the temperature at which they are reacting, as well as the speed at which the body is travelling. From these clues, astronomers can get an idea of the true brightness of a star, and by correlating this to its apparent brightness, as seen on Earth, make an accurate estimate of its distance. An estimation of the speed of a distant object seems largely from a scientific principle laid down in 1842 by the Christian physicist Christian Doppler. Hopefully that worked. I don't know if it did work. Christian Doppler. Maybe that makes it work better. I don't know. Because that's the guy that decided that when a car's going Nino, when a Nino goes past, the knees might sound different to the nose as it goes past your ear. So it starts Nino, like that as it goes past. That's the Doppler effect. My dad used to drill that into my head. Whenever he'd play football with me in the garden or fight with me in the garden, not like beat me up, but he was obsessed with teaching me how to fight. And when I was a little kid, and he'd have me in the garden, and while we're like, I don't know, poking each other in the face and trying to knock each other to the ground or kicking a ball at each other, he'd be like, do you know what the Doppler effect is, Jack? The Doppler effect is this. And then he'd sort of like walk past me making a noise. And it's just, I don't know, that's a very odd thing for me to share with you, I suppose. Where were we up to? Christian Doppler. This principle, known as the Doppler effect. So now what I'm going to learn is that the Doppler effect probably isn't at all what my dad taught me, which is that is something that's happened all throughout my life. Most of the stuff my dad's taught me has been completely wrong. So, this principle, known as the Doppler effect, is best demonstrated by relating it to the whistle. Oh, no. Best direct demonstrated by relating it to the whistle of an approaching train. As a train draws near the pitch of the train, the whistle climbs higher until the train passes, then it recedes into the distance, the tone falls. So, like that. Imagine that was a train, mate. You thought it was coming right for you, didn't you? The red shift. This is when communists do overtime, you see. They call it the red shift because the employer knows that they don't have to pay them for it. Two later 19th century astronomers, Sir William Huggins in London and a German, Hermann Vogel, independently made use of Doppler's principle. When applied to light waves, the Doppler effect shows up in colour. At the red end of the spectrum, light waves are longer, at the violet end, shorter. So redness in light coming from a celestial body is taken to mean that it must be moving away from Earth. This phenomenon is known as the red shift. Conversely, light waves from a source that is approaching the observer tend to move up to the spectrum towards the violet end, where they become stronger and more frequent, which is probably why we consider sun to be ultraviolet light, because that's light that's travelling towards us. So see-through light, yellow up until a point it's see-through, which is weird, really, isn't it? Like, I don't think anything else becomes yellow to the point it's see-through, unless you've drank loads and loads, maybe even too much water. This phenomenon is known as the red shift. We've just read that. The so-called radial velocities of many stars have been measured in this way. Thus, Sirius is approaching our solar system at 5 miles a second, and Altair at 16. That's a weird one, that. The ones are like capitalised. Aldebaran on the other hand. These all sound like things to do with Assassin's Creed. This must be where they got the names from in Assassin's Creed. Aldebaran on the other hand is receding at 34 miles a second, and Capella at 18. Capella must be noisy as well as it runs away. For some leave me alone, like that. But there's loads of music, loads of backing music, like bum 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 bum. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Bum bum bum. I hope you enjoyed that. Where are we up to? Some other explanation for violet and red shifts in stars and galaxies may of course be possible, so we don't know, but most modern astronomers accept the principles of the Doppler effect. See, this is what I mean about science, like, science, not like fucking these reptilians hiding in skin suits. Like, that's actual science. Just peel the skin off them. Are they a lizard underneath or are they not? No, they're not. Yes, they are. Then we know. Whereas this, everyone's gone, well, we think that might be right, so I'm going to base everything that I believe on that. That is no different to religion, mate, in my eyes. Oh, so God made this. So if God made this, that means God made it so that we could have medicine. That means God made it so that we can cure people. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, it doesn't make sense. You can't go, oh, this guy imagined, right, that there's a rule, an unwritten rule in reality, in existence, within the universe as a whole. A rule that exists throughout the whole universe is mental. Think about all the different rules in the different shops you go in. Like, some shops won't let two people in there at the same time under 18 years old in case they're in cahoots to steal. Some towns have different rules, like them weird rules that you can kill a Welshman from a bridge with an anvil or whatever it is on a certain day of the year. And then other countries have different rules. Wales, you can't go over 20 miles an hour in Wales, but you can in England. And you can loop out of Wales into England, go overtake Wales and pop back into Wales back at 20 miles an hour. So the idea that there's one rule throughout the entire universe, which is supposed to be endless, with infinite possibilities. The universe has infinite possibilities, but all of those infinite possibilities, according to science, regulated by these rules, which immediately narrows down the infinite, does it not? Like, it makes no sense to me. It's just nonsense. In 1924, Dr. Edwin Hubble, I imagine that's the Hubble man, unless they named it after him, of Mount Wilson. But if you are going to make a massive telescope, and why would you name it after someone else? You'd either name it something ridiculous, or you'd name it after yourself. In 1924, Dr. Edwin Hubble of Mount Wilson Observatory in California, using the superior instruments then available, learnt more about the red shift. He found that whole galaxies must be trapped. Do you not find it suspicious that there's always the red something or other in the 1900s? And most of it linked back to communism, and there was the Red Scare, the red shift. You know what I mean? There's all that sort of stuff just seems suspicious to me. Man United, they were doing well in the late 1900s. The Reds. It's just odd. He found that whole galaxies must be travelling away from the Earth at tremendous speeds. Hubble concluded that the whole universe is expanding, with everything in it moving further apart from everything else. And as the galaxies move further and further away from our own, the radiation of light we get from them gets weaker and weaker. This, said Hubble, is why starlight's too feeble to illuminate our night skies. Feeble seems an emotionally heavy word, doesn't it? Like he's pissed off with it, like he's trying to talk it down. You what? You call that a fingering? That was a feeble fingering, that. It's just fucking... It's just like an angry missus. You know what I mean? Trying to talk you down, trying to, make you think you've done a bad job. The Big Bang. Why should the universe be expanding? A weird sentence. Why should the universe be expanding? Going back to aggressive women. The idea ties in with one of the main theories about the birth of the universe, expounded in 1930 by the Belgian astronomer Georges Lemaitre. His was the Big Bang theory, which suggested that about 10 million years ago all the matter of the universe was contained in a primal atom, which he described as a super-dense cosmic egg. This, he said, exploded and its many fragments became galaxies, one of which contains our solar system, all moving apart at incredible speed. Another popular belief, the steady-state theory, was advanced in 1948 by British cosmologists Herman Bondi, Thomas Gold and Fred Hoyle, who suggested that the universe is eternal and that it has always existed. They said that... I thought I was going to go elsewhere then. They said that matter is continuously created apparently from nothing at the rate of 62 atoms of hydrogen per cubic inch of space every 1,000 million years. This is sufficient to form new galaxies to fill in the gaps because caused by the expansion of the universe. Gibberish. Utter gibberish. Such a fucking difficult thing to read as well because you can't guess the next word. How can you even surmise that? How do you measure 62 atoms of hydrogen per cubic inch of space every 1,000 million years? That just, again, if someone came up to you in the street and said, mate, I think I've figured out a way to weigh the air around me and there's more air every 62 cubic inches, you'd be like, what the fuck are you on about? It's just really, I don't understand why that's something we would ever need to work out. Find out how to get there. Yeah, we need to know how far away it is. That makes sense. And if it's constantly expanding, then we'll never get there. But let's use it then as a means of getting rid of people. Let's get people. Maybe we'll start off with like hippie-ish people that think crystals can save their lives, and them sort of Noel Edmonds potentially. He could be the pioneer. Pop him on, and he can spearhead it. And if he gets there, good luck to him. If he doesn't, I'm sure he'll enjoy the trip. There's all sorts of people you could send off there. You're going to go off to Alpha Centauri, which is the light from there is moving towards us at something like 1.2 million seconds per minute, but it's also travelling away from us at 100 million miles an hour, but that's in light years. And you're like, well, we're never going to get there. Never. It's just... Obviously, they've got to figure out how to do that space folding thing, haven't they? But then they've got to admit that space exists and that space isn't empty. Because if space is just empty, then how can you fold it in half and poke a hole through it from one side to the other? It doesn't make that... See, that makes no sense at all. And that means you've got to create something like a massive hand that can wrinkle the page of space. It just doesn't seem very believable to me. We've got a little section here at the bottom which we'll read first. Facts about our neighbours. They like masturbating in the windows. I always see them with different ladies' underwear. And it's never the lady that lives there's underwear, which is suspicious to me. Pretty sure I've seen one of them French kiss a dog. Outside the Earth's planetary system, it always goes back to kissing dogs, doesn't it? I apologise. Outside the Earth's planetary system, it's just such a funny idea, that someone would tongue kiss a dog. I think tongue kissing's weird anyway, but the idea that someone's like, I'm gonna fucking nick a dog from the park and I'm gonna tongue punch its mouth, mate. Not even tongue punch its arsehole, 'cause that'd be disgusting. It's a dog's arsehole. But kissing it, just grabbing it and sensually kissing a dog's face, mental to me. And that's someone's idea of their best day. It's just bizarre to me. Outside the Earth's planetary system, the nearest star to the Sun is Proxima Centauri, at a distance of 4.25 light years. We've literally covered this in a paragraph about a page ago. But it is by no means the brightest star in Earth's heavens. The four brightest are Sirius, the dog star. Ironic that we're talking about dogs again. 8.7 light years away. Far distant Canopus, which sounds a bit dog-like, doesn't it? Canopus. Canopus is like the guy that wanted to have sex with his mum's dog. 900 light years away. That's a huge jump. Alpha Centauri, 4.3 light years away. And Arcturus, 36 light years away. That must be a big star then at Canopus, that one. The most distant body that can be seen with the naked eye from Earth is the Great Spiral Galaxy in the star cluster or constellation known as Andromeda, more than 2 million light years away. It appears only as a faint blotch of light. Is it really fucking visible then with the naked eye if it's just a faint blotch? I suppose in some way it's visible, but you're not looking at it and going, oh bloody hell, look at that up there. Hey love, is that Andromeda up there, that blur in the sky? Load of science pisses me off. We'll work our way through it though. I'm very conscious that I keep making weird mouth noises because my mouth keeps getting pretty wet. The largest star visible to the naked eye is probably Alpha Hercules. Hercules, a red giant, the name given to stars that are cooling. See, I think they used these to get rid of the ideas of giants. Well, we should fear the giants. So now the giants aren't massive creatures from, humanoid-like people. Well, just, giant people. Like, there was all that stuff in one of the episodes we did in the public episodes where we learned about giants. I think a lot of them the remains were dug up in the West Indies, was it? By Cook or Drake? I can't remember which. That was years ago, that was going back years there. But either way, fear the giant. The giant will come and kill you all. The Cyclops will come and kill you all. It's going to destroy your town. Now it's that star up there's a giant, mate. That's going to explode, and then in about 4 million years, that we're going to feel the repercussions of that because we're not going to be getting the exact same amount of radiation that star was giving us for all those millions of years. They just fucking give it a different name. Why is it calling it the red giant? Call it the massive dot. That'll do. The massive dot. The massive red dot. Oh, there's another massive red dot opening up in the sky. It just makes more sense. Like black hole. That's perfect. It's a hole. The hole's got no other weight to it other than this descriptive. Giant isn't very descriptive, is it? It's very subjective, giant. What's it big to? What's it giant to? Because in the means of an infinite and ultimately infinite universe, what's giant? Everything's just a speck of sand. The name given to stars that are cooling. The smallest known stars are about the size of planets, less than 10,000 miles in diameter. The smallest yet detected is Wolf 457, which 3 to 1,000th the size of the Sun, is smaller than the Earth. Some may be less than 1,100 miles across. By the standards of Earth's solar system, the largest stars are enormous. The variable star, now VV, that I don't know if that's Roman numerals, VV 55 Cephei, 1,000 million miles in diameter. For example, is 1,220 times the size of the Sun. A variable star is a pulsating star growing bright then dim in a regular pattern or rhythm. The most densely populated area of the heavens is considered to be that part of the Milky Way or Earth's galaxy in the constellation or star cluster known as Cygnus the Swan. I imagine the most densely populated area with stars, but that's because we can see them. Surely it's already stated that we can't see them all because the light feigns from them. So how can we even suggest that? That's just from our perspective. If you're looking from up there, I imagine there's somewhere else. And they won't have, like street lights obscuring the view, will they, on their planets? You just sit on someone else's rock and be like, look at that sun there, mate, that's mad, that. Then we got a picture of the sun being eclipsed by the Earth. Which, that was taken by the moon, from the moon, which that seems possible. During its expedition to the moon in November 1969. Do you not think the Apollo 12, do you not think that's suspicious that we sent people to the moon for an eclipse of the sun where the Earth would eclipse the sun? That seems very weird to me. What are you trying to do there? Is that like in Hercules where when all the planets align a portal opens? Well, what are they up to? The Savage Sun. Should we have another section? We'll have this other section. We'll see where we go. Then I saw the next session is called The Mysteries of the Moon. So I don't know how much of space we'll get through. I'd like to give you a good chunk of it. The Savage Sun. In the order of the universe, the Sun is an ordinary, typical, medium-sized star. Yet its energy... See, that's not... I don't know, that doesn't sound positive. It's not. It's kind of descriptive, but none of them words mean anything, do they? The Sun is an ordinary compared to what? Typical compared to what? If anything, ordinary and typical mean the same thing. Medium-sized, if anything, would mean ordinary, because to be medium, it means you're not small, you're not big, you're average. So that's the guy getting in his word count. We're only on page 14. Yet its energy and violence almost defy imagination. It is a dense mass of glowing matter, 1,000,000 times the volume of the Earth, and in a permanent state of nuclear activity. Every second, 4 million tons of hydrogen are destroyed in explosions which start somewhere near the core. When the temperature is 13 million degrees centigrade. More, I don't understand that centigrade as a capital C. I've never known that. Quite odd that. What's that in Fahrenheit then? So 13 million degrees centigrade, double it, 26 million and add 30. 26 million degrees and 30 Fahrenheit. More of energy than man has used... Sorry, that's more energy than man has used since the dawn of civilization, is radiated by this normal star in a second. That's a weird sentence for the book. I shouldn't have given it such vigour. The Earth's entire oil, coal and wood reserves would fuel the Sun's energy output to the Earth alone for only a few days. Tongues of hydrogen flame leap from the Sun's surface with a force of 1,000 million hydrogen bombs. They're forced up by the enormous thermonuclear explosion at the core of the Sun, where 564 million tons of hydrogen fuse each second to form helium. So why is it not getting further away from us than the Sun? Or is that what's keeping it up in the air? Matter at the core of the Sun. Matter at the core of the Sun is so hot that a pinhead of it would give off enough heat to kill a man 100 million miles away. That's technology that we need, that in it. Like, how big did it say the Earth was? The Earth's, 100 miles? 100 million miles did it suggest the Earth was in diameter a minute ago? I don't think it did. No, it didn't. I've made that up, sorry. Slow burning bomb. The Sun, therefore, is like a vast hydrogen bomb burning slowly. It is only its vast size that makes its energy output so phenomenal. See, if we hadn't invented the nuclear bomb, then how would we be describing this right now? If we hadn't completely ruined Nevada and destroyed them fucking coral reefs and, 2 Japanese cities, how would we even understand the Sun now? It doesn't... See, that's what's bizarre to me. It's like everything links together, but then you're told nothing links together, stop looking for connections. But it's all... I find that weird, man. Why did we blew up, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Bikini Bay, what else did we blow up? Nevada. There's been multiple other nuclear explosions. Also that we can go, the Sun's well hotter than that. You know what that is? The Sun's 1,000,000 times warmer than that, mate. That is tepid compared to the Sun. Mental. It is only its vast size that makes its energy output so phenomenal. In fact, its output is 1/5. In fact, its output is about 1/5 that of the human body in relation to volume. What? So it's actually not actually doing anything at all compared to us. So the Sun wouldn't need to eat nearly as much as what we eat. So for us to be able to put out energy, we need, is it something like, it's not 15,000 calories a day, is it? That'll be wrong. Maybe about 3,000 calories a day we're supposed to eat, so that we can put out normal energy to be able to think and look both ways when we cross a road and retain information and maybe run if we need to run. Whereas the Sun does 1/5 of that. So the Sun only needs, 600 calories? That's got to be maybe a decent sized Mars bar, maybe, to power the Sun. Sometimes the Sun's surface is gashed by dark patches known as sunspots, thousands of miles across, probably caused by magnetic disturbances, but not fully understood. Why mention it? From the Sun's surface, tens of thousands of fountains of blazing gas called spicules spurt out every second. That sounds kind of racist. It sounds like they would be racist words. Like fountains of blazing gas called spicules. Doesn't sound right to me. They reach out 6,000 miles, then they fall back within minutes. Should I read it all like that now? Sunspot activity increases about every 11 years. Over the same cycle, earthly phenomena of aura variation, magnetic storms, and radio blackouts occur. Why is there radio blackouts on the sun? Who's on the sun going? Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Can you read me? Can you read me? No one's there. There's fucking, again, nonsense. Solar flares. See, a lot of people believe that solar flares was partly what was going on at COVID. They were worried as it was starting before the lockdown started. I remember finding loads of things online that was suggesting we would use solar flare activity, like what happened in, I want to say it was 1862. Was it 1862? When all of the phone lines and that went and melted and stuff, maybe a bit later than that. And all the electric lines around the world started melting and stuff because of solar flare activity. People thought that's what was coming and that's what was about to happen, and they wanted everyone locked in their houses so they couldn't discuss it. And then 6 months, 7 months, 8 months later, lockdown happened, which I always thought was really strange because that was a big, big concern on the internet. If you're not into conspiracy, then that might sound mental to you, like I've made that bit up, like I normally make stuff up, but that is what was big on the internet at the time. And then all that stuff just disappeared. And then it became about lockdown and that, which I thought was fascinating. Where are we up to? These eject, in the daft way, solar flares. Loops of bright gas or prominences arch 100,000 miles into the sun's outer atmosphere, or coronal mass ejections. That's what you want to Google. Google that and it'll get you into what I was just discussing. But these are small compared with solar flares. These eject electromagnetic waves which travel at the speed of light and reach Earth in about 8 minutes. This makes my throat hurt talking like this, makes it dry. They are followed by other particles which take half an hour to reach Earth. We need to put a filter then, don't we, to stop these particles hitting us, being bombarded by these late arriving particles. Yeah. A day later, slower particles arrive. Maybe I should read the book in that voice and then just talk in my normal voice so you know which bit I'm adding, but I think that might take away some of the fun of the whole thing. One of the largest recorded flares occurred in November 12, 1960. Astronomers detected a gigantic explosion on the sun, a cloud of hydrogen 10 million miles wide, stretching back 46 million miles, collided with the Earth and started a violent chain of disturbances. Aurorae, normally seen within 1,500 miles of the poles, Aurorae sounds like it'd be a Pokemon name, displayed much more spectacular shimmering coloured ribbons than usual. This was caused by particles from the solar flare streaming into the upper atmosphere. 2 days later, teleprinters produced nonsensical messages and radio communications were blacked out. Oh, here you go. It was 1960, not 1860, according to this. Electric lights flickered as if thunderstorms raged, yet the skies were clear. Some of these effects lasted over a week. A suggested explanation of this is that solar flares in some way send out nuclei of hydrogen atoms and electrons. These, travelling at 400 to 600 miles per second, began to reach the Earth's atmosphere about 50 hours after the flare and produced the disturbances. That's the end of that. We've got another little section here. It seems to be to do with, I'm going to guess from the drawing, China, but we might be wrong. It looks like a load of Chinese fellas, if I had to guess. And it's got Chinese writing and a tiled floor, and even like the wooden table there looks like Asian carpentry sort of thing. The sad tale of Shi and Ho. One day in the year 2136 BC, a hungry dragon tried to eat the sun. Here we go. The Emperor of China. Oh no, sorry, I've read that in a weird way. Sorry, I've given infliction where it wasn't necessary. One day in the year 2136 BC, a hungry dragon tried to eat the sun. The Emperor of China and his people were terrified. At first, a tiny bite was taken out of by one side of the orb, then a quarter, a half, and suddenly the whole sun had gone, and there was nothing but a strange circle of white light around a black space where the blazing disc had been. The frightened but resourceful Chinese knew what to do. They ran around in the strange twilight, shouting and screaming defiance at the dragon, beating drums, banging gongs and whacking hollow wooden ducks until the startled dragon moved reluctantly away from its unswallowed meal. I know better than to make things up during this bit. I'm just reading this bit verbatim if you were wondering. The sun was saved, but the Emperor, now more angry than scared, ordered that the imperial astronomers Shi and Ho, depicted here attending their Emperor in happier times, should be beheaded for failing to warn him in time of the dragon's approach. Astronomers have been long amused by the anonymous rhyme with which has come down to us from their epitaph. Here lie the bodies of Shi and Ho, whose fate though sad was visible, being killed because they did not spy the eclipse which was invisible. Mad that that rhymes in English as it did in Chinese. I can't imagine it sounded like that in Chinese. But I suppose visible and invisible would somewhat sound similar, wouldn't they? So maybe the rhyming scheme would work. But it's hard to imagine like the structure of a sentence and the poetry of, like 6,000-year-old Chinese writing could be translated into such a coherent message with such a clear allegory. Do you know what I mean? It's just, that's mental to me. That makes me think time isn't real. More like flamenco, so like more flamenco fucking flavour, if you like. A total eclipse of the sun was seen at that time in China, but Shi and Ho, as experienced astronomers, should have predicted it. Well, they weren't doing it, were they? They were just dossing. What a great job to have had 6,000 years ago when we didn't have any of the technology we've got now. What a brilliant job to have the Emperor's astronomers. What's the chances of this happening and you getting killed, realistically? All of the ones before you'd have gotten away with it. We've gotten away with murder for thousands of years. What happens is that as the moon moves around the earth and the earth around the sun, there are times when the three are lined up in such a way that the moon blots out the sun's light for anything up to 7.5 minutes. So they were killed for 7.5 minutes. Imagine now. This is what gives you the idea that there used to be a lot less people, because if you had to organise now, with all the technology we've got and the advanced warnings you can get, the government sending text messages that makes your phone go like that when there's a warning that, like fucking a satellite's going to fall on your head. The idea that they could then orchestrate to get all the locals running around in the weird night time, shouting and screaming at the dragon and getting them to beat drums and bang gongs and whack wooden hollow ducks. The idea that they had the time to grab the gongs, the wooden hollow ducks and the drums, that they must have just had them to hand. Was it like the equivalent of their Morris dancers? And the Morris dancers just thought, hey, I'll grab all that stuff I keep by the door just in case. Because you're not putting it away, are you? If you're a Morris dancer, you're fucking proud you're a Morris dancer, and you want whenever anyone comes round your house. They're like, what's with the sticks and bells and ribbons, lad? Why'd you keep that by your door? My granddad was a Morris dancer, and me dad. And I am as well, and my son will be, and his sons will be. Do you know what I mean? And then you're like, isn't that something like maybe your daughter should be doing? No, it's for the boys. Morris dancing's for the boys. It's called Morris, not Doris. It's not Doris dancing. Oh my god, my throat's so dry, guys. We're going to leave it there. The next one's Mysteries of the Moon, mate. Alright, just before you leave, I just want to remind you that you can get more of these on Patreon. If you use the link in the description, you can get to that. £3 a month, 7-day free trial as well if you want to see some of the stuff that's on there and give it a bash beforehand. I also send out a message on there when there's a new Rat Pencil case. You get discount codes for some of the things on my website every now and then. You can download all of my books on there as well within the £3 sub. And you can join another sub on there, which is a little bit higher. I think it works out about £8, I think, give or take. And you get sent 2 magnets a month from me as well. So that's nice. And there's only a few positions left. Well, I think I've put it to like 50 people can be joined that. I think it was. I set it up a while ago and only about 3 people have signed up to it. So if you want yourself some magnets every month and a load of bonus stuff, join me Patreon. But otherwise, I'm just glad you listened to the podcast, mate. It's very nice. You'll leave a review, leave a rating, share it with a mate or something like that. Or fucking see you in a bit, mate.